framing is done, and I've got the radiant heat barrier wrapped on the outside. You can maybe just barely see, but a lot of the solar racking is installed on the roof. So this side of the roof is shingled, that side of the roof is just papered. I can't really tile the roof until the stucco is done, because the stucco goes up to the edge and then the tiles come down, and there's a little metal drip edge that goes on top of the stucco but under the tiles. So if I put it under the tiles, it'll be in the way of the stucco. I put in the garage doors. I'm just really trying to keep it weather tight. This garage door is really just set in. This garage door is fully installed. So the radiant heat barrier, in my case, following the company Attic Foils instructions, you can actually put it on the outside of the building, but it's not. It's in no way a vapor barrier. It's really just to reject the radiant heat waves. And I'm going to tell you, you can really feel it out here, just reflecting everything. So mainly that's what's going on for outside. I did go ahead and get the insulated roll-up door. But the main things that are really happening right now is wiring and plumbing. So there's that garage door. That one I'm gonna kind of customize and make a little nicer, but basically some of the wiring I think is fairly straightforward, probably pretty do-it-yourself friendly, with enough research, but some of it's not so much. So like this whole panel being for the garage is just like regular breakers, no arc fault, ground fault combination breakers or anything. It's just pretty standard, older style electric, I guess you could say. So I've been working mainly down here, and the whole living space specifically needs arc fault, AFCI, arc fault interrupter, and ground fault both. So that makes it more complicated. So rather than running a whole, like 8 home runs all the way down to here and, sending up a whole ton of circuits, we decided to add a little sub panel. So I ran this 90 amp breaker and went to, I think number 4 aluminum, Romex right here, and an M cable, and ran that up into the apartment side. So a lot of it's just making a plan for where the wiring is going to go. Where do you want your receptacles or outlets? Where do you want your light switches? So what I did was I brought in an electrician, and we kind of came up with a deal. I could have hired an electrician, just wire the whole thing, and that would make a lot of sense. Maybe make more sense. But in the interest of me trying to do what I can to stay in budget, I just asked him to come in, help me lay it out, help me get my stuff together on what I'm going to pull, what size wire, what type wire, where it's going to go. And we kind of walked it for several hours, made some notes, and now I've been drilling. That's why it's a mess in here, because I'm just drilling and making a huge mess. So like, I'm not really spending a lot of time cleaning up, because once I'm done with all the drilling, I want to clean out all the wood chips and everything. Is just like anywhere below where I've drilled is just full of wood and junk. So it'd be good to hire that out, but really it's you could drill holes as long as you know where it all has to go. And I didn't have the skills to really figure all that out. So once he helped me, and initially I started running my own electricity before, just so I could have the framers work and get the compressor and everything. But like, this is my original wiring, and I'm not happy with it now that he's come and kind of show me some things. So like, some of these wires are kind of twisting and turning as they're going. I didn't really leave enough slack for this receptacle, so I'm gonna have to pull that wire out and pull a foot longer wire in neatly, maybe to pass code, but at least just to know that I did it right. So some of the later stuff, once he came and showed me, was It's more like over here. More the style you'd really need to do is like pull some extra wire, make sure you have enough to do a little loop, you know, to do a little bit of extra, staple it, leave it so there's several inches of wire inside the box. And also just, there's a lot of techniques, watch YouTube too, on how to get the wire nice and straight, kind of pre-unrolling, because if you just start pulling it through, the wire is going to be kind of twirling like this as you go, and it just makes a mess. And so, you know, I've been working on this for several days. It doesn't seem like it'd take that long. Maybe it wouldn't take, you know, an electrician who does this every day that long. It's taken me a while. And it gets a little tricky with some of these strong walls. I can't drill through that strong wall. I can't drill through this big header for the door. So some of it's more like surface mount. You know, I'm doing like a surface mount, and then these blocking are going to give it some space. And anywhere where it might be more risky to penetrate drywall screw, I'm going to plate over top of it. And so, you know, this stuff's taken a lot of time. But I did get the three-way switch for the lights down here figured out. You know, in a lot of ways, it might make sense just to pull the wire and leave it cut and turned in, but I'm kind of doing things a little different because I want to actually be able to use the lights. So I'm actually putting the switches and the receptacles in and everything, and then I'm going to have to unscrew them and slide them out, and then, you know, like tape them up so that the drywall will be behind this. So as of right now, if they put the drywall up, it'll be in front of it, so that's a no-go. So, you know, I'll have some extra work to do to pull these out and tape them. And, you know, same with the electrical panel. It may make sense to not put that cover on, but I'm going to put the cover on and then I'll just take it back off. And also I've been shopping for some of the things I need. Like we needed some doors. We wanted some barn doors. The hot water heater was required for inspection to be this high efficiency heat pump style. It was a lot of money, like $1,500. But I wanted to get it here so that way I make sure I know exactly where the wiring's going to be. So I'm doing a lot of the wiring. I'm basically doing all the wiring down here because I feel like it's a little easier. But upstairs, the electrician has been wiring the living area. And the plumber, you know, I see what the plumber does, and to be honest, maybe some of the stuff I could have done, but you know, the underslab work, I was not real comfortable with doing the underslab work because if I made a mistake, it's under the concrete. So I brought in the plumber, and he wasn't real interested in doing one part of it. He kind of wanted to do the whole job. So I agreed to have him do that. So the plumber's doing the plumbing. I'm helping him where I can, but he's really doing it. I'm not doing the plumbing. You know, so this is, I helped the electrician up here, you know, pull these wires, but he's got it laid out. It's helpful because for me, I would have put the outlet there, but he said, you know, put one up here because this is probably where your TV would be. And then, you know, he had some thoughts about if there's going to be an island, you know, we need to get some wire into that. And again, all these are going to be they have to be the arc fault, ground fault combination deal. So rather than being a normal breaker, this is the code here. So it's the dual function, arc fault and ground fault. The only cool thing with that is I don't actually need the GFI outlets up here because the breaker does the job of both. So they're expensive, $50 a piece. And kind of just to keep things cleaner, like I said, we put a sub panel here. So that's fed by that, whatever it was, number 4, or it might even be 2. It was pretty big aluminum. And so that was our deal. That wire is, I want to say we calced it for like 125 amps, even though it's going to be a 90 amp breaker, just to make sure we're good for the voltage drop. And each one of these circuits coming off of here, because it's all going to be in the living space, will all be those dual function breakers. So, you know, I come up here and I help drill holes, but, you know, doing much less up here. He's doing much more up here. in there. And so same, he's got a method because he's a professional electrician all day. He sets these boxes at a given height. I think he liked these boxes at 18 inches top of box, and I think the light switches were 48 inches top of box. So it's all going to be consistent. And there's a lot more layout than I thought there'd be. So like the outdoor lights, for example, we want to be able to turn them on here or there. So that's going to be a three-way switch. This hallway, it's not really a hallway, but it's open space. We needed to put a three-way switch there and there. So if you turn it on and then you walk through the space, you can turn it off. So, you know, I'm going to say I'm glad that I brought him on, because if I didn't think about something, it A, may not pass, and B, it may be totally frustrating to turn these lights on to be able to walk through and then not be able to turn them off. So you have to, I guess, leave them off and hope you make it through here and don't trip on something. So there's a lot of layout things. You know, it'd be something that you could figure out yourself, kind of, but it really helps to have somebody with the experienced hand. And same with this, needs to have a three-way switch at the bottom and at the top so you can turn them on, walk up, turn them off. So quite a few layout items, but as you can see, the framing's pretty much done. You know, I may do a couple little different things. I need to leave this space open because I need to get the HVAC system in there, which there's a little debate about that right now. I really want to do the mini split, a mini split here and a mini split there, but the county is pushing more for a full HVAC system with ducting and everything, so I'm trying to figure that out. And then as you can see, the plumber is connecting the drain pipes, bringing them up. This one will be for the washer. This is for the bathroom sink, you know, vanity. This one, you know, I don't really remember what that one is. Oh, I think that's just for the toilet. That's right. So the toilet's here, and then that's the vent. So that one's going to vent through the roof. That one's going to vent through the roof. There's another one for the kitchen that's going to vent through the roof. So there will be several going through the roof. He hasn't made the roof penetrations. I told him, don't make those until you have to. That way I don't have to try to, you know, if it does rain, I want to have them flashed and watertight. And I wasn't quite ready to handle that yet. So, but, you know, here we've run extra switches to be able to have an exhaust fan, a light, and actually an exhaust fan with an integrated heater. So there'll be 3 switches rather than just like 2. And so there's, you know, a lot of thought to go into a lot of this stuff. And some of the things that I thought made sense didn't make sense to them. Like for me, I would have tried to make one hole and fit all the wires, but they kind of want to spread the wires out. So they're doing holes kind of stacked on top of each other. I guess because if the wires get too packed into one hole, they get hot, and then I guess you have to do some derate calculations, or, you know, anticipate the heat may make more resistance in the circuit. So that's mainly what I really need to do. Get the electrical dialed, get the plumbing done, and get the HVAC in totally before fire sprinklers can go in. Once I get those 3 done, they can come and run fire sprinklers. And then after the fire sprinklers are in, the fire department's going to show up and verify the initial fire inspection. And then after that, I can call for my next county inspection, which is what they call combo, which is basically electrical plumbing. I don't think he's really going to check the HVAC, but they won't do combo until the fire has done their initial. After that is passed, then I can start drywalling, you know, insulation and drywall. I believe actually I have to do insulation, have them check the insulation, and then do drywall, you know. So it's a lot, but it's coming along. It's kind of a fun stage to think of where things are going to go. It's really windy today, but I'll hop out here. That's why it was important for me to get these doors in, because if I have any big openings, like where there's no door, the garage door, wind is going to come in and blow these plastic window covers out, and my windows won't be here for another week. Just a long 5-week wait time on those. So like out here, you know, we're making a plan for where there will be outdoor light fixtures. So we put one there, one here, one here. Gosh, man, this thing throws some heat off of it. Good to have the heat coming back out rather than going in, but one there, one there. So a lot of planning, but overall some really cool stuff, you know, and I'm going to put several receptacles out here. And the outdoor receptacles have to be outdoor rated. So there's a lot of little details, but overall it's coming along. I also still have to put in the vents. You know, I was really thinking about how I'm going to do that, but that's the status. I'd imagine the next update, plumbing, electrical, and hopefully HVAC should be in or close to in. And so there you go.